So I had a woman call me just a minute ago, and she said that she's having problems with her lab. And I asked, what do you got going on? And she said, my lab is obsessed with the ball. And it's really gotten to a point that it's a problem. And she said that she's just constantly fixated on the ball. You put it up, the dog's fixated on that. The dog's grabbing things and putting it in her lap and saying, throw this, throw that. When they go out and about, if their dog sees another ball, sees a chuck it stick, their dog is sprinting after it. And it's a problem. It makes it really difficult to take her anywhere, she said. And I asked her, what is the reason you're throwing that ball? And of course she says, exercise and fun. And I asked, why do you think the dog needs this? And she said, well, ever since she was a puppy, like, all she did was play with her litter mates, and she has all this energy and just trying to drain this energy. And so I go, okay, like, when you exercise and you start to run a mile, do you gain more energy or less energy? Or in other words, can you run more miles or less miles when you continue to do that activity? And of course, the answer is you gain energy. You can run more miles. So the idea that you're going to drain the energy, tire the dog out, might happen at first, but they are going to become a better athlete and have more endurance, more energy, more stamina to do that activity. And eventually it's just not going to you're not going to be able to do it. They're going to just keep going. And then what happens is the dog then is going to probably start getting injuries, torn ACL, Achilles, hip issues, those type of things. Because, well, we're trying to drain this energy that we're actually feeding and creating. So I go, to me, when I have a dog that has too much energy, I see it as a dog that doesn't have boundaries, isn't socializing properly, doesn't understand what we're looking for. And I said, when I was a child, I did not have to go run laps before I went to the library to read books. If I went into that library with the energy of running laps, the librarian would tell me to shh and settle down. That is what she would say. And there would be consequences for me if I continued to act wild, to have all that energy. And so she or he would let me know, and I would feel that it was dangerous or unacceptable. I would get, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble. And I would then learn to regulate my energy within that environment. So I could come down that hallway with all the energy in the world, and right when I went into that library, I would settle down and I would be whispering and be calm. Because I went, ooh, I don't want to disturb the librarian. I don't want to get her on my case. And this is how it works. So if my dog has too much energy, is acting too hyper or energetic within an environment or context, and it is dangerous or I don't like it, it's too much, I then say something about it. I take action on that to make them feel that they probably should rethink how they're showing up. And this is how it needs to be done. Because it's how nature works. It's how we're wired. us and the dog. So we got to understand the things that we're doing with our dogs. I had a client, well, multiple clients, but when I was talking to this woman, this story came up, and this client of mine, he called me and said, Scott, I have a problem. My dog is acting way too excited and wild with people, and I don't like it. It's embarrassing. It's potentially dangerous. I need your help. And so I go, okay. So I came over and I said, okay, well, this is what's going on, and you know, you're roughhousing with the dog. You're getting them all riled up, and he's like, well, I'm playing with them. And I say, yeah, I understand what you feel like you're doing, and I said, but you know, you're teaching the dog that this is how they can act towards you and other people. You say, this is fine. This is how we engage. And you do this right when you come home through that door. And then when your guests come over and your dog does the same thing, you go, no, bad dog. But you're the one that is teaching this, creating this. And so we address the dog. I tell the dog, hey, I don't like what you're doing here. And the dog settles down and goes, and it's like this. Like this. And the client then proceeds to go, oh man, and I go, what? And they're like, oh, well, they're sad and bored. They're just not happy. And so what do? They go, come here, boy, come here. And he gets them all riled up. And I said, see, this is your problem. You feel that you need your dog to be excited because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel happiness. But the very thing that you then do, then later, is the very thing that creates your misery. You are in a vicious cycle. And it's like, it's either you're gonna make the changes within you and deal with what you got going on, or you're just gonna have to deal with what you have created. Because you created it. You allow it. And so we got to make our choices, and we got to change. And people don't want to change. We want change, but we don't want to change. It's scary. It's hard. And so people think that, well, I'll just throw money at it. I'll sign my dog up for a boarding train. I'll buy a prong collar, remote collar. I'll buy a clicker. I'll try to exercise the dog so they don't have all this energy anymore. Like, we think that, you know, we're going to be able to do this. So we got to look at it, understand it. What role do we have in all of it? We got to look at things from nature's perspective, because nature is the truth. It's the reality. And when with the human being, we can run into problems because we can start looking and believing in things that aren't real, that don't exist. So let me know if you have any comments or anything that you'd like to add or refute. Let me know down below in the comments, or you can message me privately, or you can give me a phone call.